We know you want to hear more of what Andrew and John have to say. Don't worry, we will. But first, let's hear what they got into earlier today on Kincaid and South Tunis.
They played tough, and they were right there.
You have to win one in New York if you're going to win the series.
Whether Embiid's playing or not,
Correct.
right? Like,
that
you
was
need
the
to
game.
win one.
You have to steal one. That felt like the game that was there to be stolen, and I don't want to think that they wasted that opportunity, but
Yeah,
wow.
It sucks. There was so much flowers being thrown toward Joel Embiid. We've reached a point where admirable is just not enough, right? Like, you know how much I admire Joel Embiid, and I love the guy, and, you know, would love to see him hoist a championship trophy here, but you're now down 2-0 in this series. And, I don't know, people could say that they looked better last night without him. We can have that conversation. There was a lot of members of the New York media that were saying, wow, this actually changes things, and they were actually a little bit more concerned that Embiid not playing helped out the Sixers.
Can we be honest? Do you not think that they look like a more challenging team for the Knicks to defend last night?
Sure, with the ball movement.
They look like a faster, younger, modern NBA team.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that they're better, that they don't have more talent on the floor when you subtract Joel Embiid.
Right, New York now has to change their entire defensive game plan when Embiid's not playing in an entire game.
But Mike Brown makes it clear it's harder to defend the Sixers, actually, with Embiid off the floor.
Now, back to the show.
All right, we've been all over the place today. Sixers reaction obviously been the majority of the conversation. Flyers game 3 tonight. Phillies win again yesterday. John Kincaid's love for Don Mattingly continues to grow by the day, thanks to Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health.
Well, now that's too far.
No,
That's too far.
Oh, I thought the poll of the day was about Don Mattingly. I forgot it was about Tyrese Maxey, who had a horrific second half yesterday. There are a lot of people that are hesitant to be critical of Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, there are.
And I have we gotten texts on the Davis on the text line as to why people are hesitant to be critical of Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah, we have. We have had some people check in, or at least saying how their thoughts are on it. Joe the Cynic says, I'm a fan of Maxey, but I could really do it without the off-balance ill-advised threes when nobody is under and he has a one-on-three situation. Aren't great players supposed to make others better? Hard to do when he's gunning when he has options, and when anyone does that, I'll criticize him.
Look, I love the way he plays the game. So, I don't want him to change the way he plays the game. It's just, I call it like I see it. Did the guy play well in the first half yesterday? He was exceptional. Did the guy play poorly in the second half? Yes. Did they lose because of the second half? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is he the reason why they're winning at halftime? Yes.
Yes.
But I'm not.
Paul George.
Whoa.
And Paul George.
He was part of it.
But I'm not celebrating the lead at halftime. They're down 2-0 in the series. And his poor play in the second half is the reason why you're down 2-0. He is a max contract player. We had a guy earlier saying that doesn't mean anything. Yes, it does.
What?
Yeah,
Yes, it does.
How would it not mean
He
anything?
is held to a different standard, at least in my mind, in your mind, in Andrew's mind. But there's a lot of people that don't look at him as that max contract player just yet. They look at him as young Tyrese. He is a max contract player. He'll be 26 years old next year. 27 is that age where you see a lot of those stars win their first championship. So he's heading in that direction. I'm not saying he stinks. I love him. You do start to build alongside with Tyrese Maxey. But to just ignore that he played poorly in the second half, he took 2 shots in the third quarter. 2. He played all 12 minutes. He took 2 shots. He didn't get to the free throw line because he didn't attack the basket. The other team had 4 fouls. Every big had 4 fouls on the Knicks, and he was afraid to attack the basket.
You
That's
weren't going to
not
win that
good.
game without Maxey taking over for the entirety of the game, and that obviously didn't happen. He came up empty in critical moments when they needed him most, and that was unfortunate.
The overhit, 24.5.
There you go. The overhit, which we both thought, and the one thing that I didn't think was the threes. I when we were talking about you're putting together your parlay, I thought that was a lock. I thought it was a lock.
I had a parlay. I even threw in Kelly Oubre rebounds, and it hit. I was Tyrese Maxey 2.5 over threes away from winning a decent chunk of change. He was 1 of 6. 1 of 6, and he had that open look in the fourth quarter, man. And
he also missed some free throws.
Yeah, dude, he had a bad second half yesterday. But there are a lot of people that are hesitant to be critical, or they're doing what I did with Embiid, and I get it. I'm seeing a lot of the same mistakes being made that I made with Joel Embiid. It's the front office's fault. It's this fault. It's this fault. It's this fault. Yeah, maybe Embiid should have done this better. But I gave 4 other things first. And that's what I'm seeing with Tyrese Maxey right now. There's a lot of people that will make 5 other excuses for Maxey before they actually just point out that he played poorly in the second half.
And it's really easy. And I guarantee you this, with Tyrese Maxey, he'll be the first person, and he even did some of it post-game. He's an accountable player.
Yeah. That's why I love him.
He has been such an exceptional talent for this organization. It's amazing.
Yep, it is. He is. All right, joining us now here on Kincaid and Salchunas, and our man Andrew DeCecco is in studio with us as well. Covers the Sixers for NBC Sports Philadelphia. We get to find out, is there any whispers on the status of Joel Embiid in Game 3? Noah Levick joins us here on Kincaid and Salchunas. Noah, good morning.
For having me on.
Thank you for coming on, Noah. So Embiid out yesterday, hip and ankle. When was the first time you heard about the hip and ankle? Because that's something new that popped up on the injury report.
Yeah, they had popped up on a couple of prior injury reports. And with the Sixers, I don't think those often tell you a ton. Embiid had been listed as probable, but as Nick Nurse explained it, he showed up at shoot-around yesterday, and the soreness was at a much higher level. I think we all know at this point, Embiid is always going to try to argue his case and push to play, but it sounds like the medical folks basically said that that's not happening tonight, and you're ruled out for this game. So, according to the Knicks, they also found out, officially in the middle of the day, and everyone sort of had to make adjustments for Game 2 as a result.
No, was there any question that he would have played in Game 1? After the 7-game series? Because earlier I had speculated if he was banged up after Game 7, could it have been an option to maybe rest him in Game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think these issues have certainly been lingering. It's not like they just popped up suddenly, but it does sound like the level of, pain, soreness was significantly elevated yesterday. And, it did not seem as if the Sixers, were seriously contemplating resting him in a spot where he thought he was able to play, and, the soreness wasn't at an unbearable level. But you can definitely say it's the sort of deal where he's getting massaged all the time, he's getting treatment, he's really trying to work through all this stuff. And in his and the Sixers' eyes, it was doable to play in Game 1. And yesterday was a case where both injuries just felt much worse, and he wasn't able to go.
Noah, after the game, Tyrese Maxey mentioned that the finger injury affected him late in that game. Talking to him, hearing Nick Nurse, do you get a sense of the extent of that injury?
That's another one where definitely fair to classify it as lingering for weeks and weeks here. I mean, he returned from that one ahead of schedule, and I don't think it's ever gotten back to anywhere near 100%. This is probably the 4th, 5th, 6th time that he's noticeably jammed it or aggravated it in a game, or even admitted as much. Don't think it was the kind of deal where it left him unable to shoot or unable to zoom past defenders or anything, but was absolutely on his mind. And as he noted, affecting his mentality in terms of the approach he took against the Knicks blitzes, and feeling it often makes more sense to just quickly relinquish the ball. In my eyes, the biggest physical factor for him in that game is he played 47 minutes, which even for someone who led the NBA minutes per game is just an unreal number, especially given the context of the grueling 7-game series the Sixers played in round 1. So I think he was one of several players where the fatigue was obvious with all the missed jumpers that the Sixers have been hitting earlier in the game. Maxey, of course, super well conditioned, can never knock him for that, but he's a human being, and playing 47 minutes a game where you have such a large offensive load, that is inevitably going to take its toll in the final minutes.
Noah Levick of NBC Sports Philadelphia joining us here on Kincaid and Salchunas. Noah, what do you believe, or what have you heard is the status for Joel Embiid in Game 3?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll continue to be wait and see. It would be my sense. I think, again, the one thing that's ultra clear is Joel Embiid wants to play, is going to push really hard to play. Nick Nurse said his belief is that it's a day-to-day issue, so I'm sure it's the kind of thing where it's fluid. and they'll continue to assess his level of soreness, his level of pain periodically. So I believe how he wakes up tomorrow morning will again be a big factor, and the Sixers will go from there. But I don't think it's something where they'll at all be reluctant to put him back out there in Game 3 if his physical health and pain and soreness are improved. But I think we just all have to wait and see if that ultimately happens and if things pan out as they hope.
Following the Knicks beats from some of their post-game stuff and everything, it looks like they could have an MRI today for OG to have his hamstring checked out, and potentially we're looking at Josh Hart could be banged up. So there could be some injury situations on their front that affect Game 3 for the Sixers.
Right, and Mitchell Robinson missed the game last night with an illness, so injuries of note on both sides. OG Anunoby, of course, would be a huge loss, in part because last night he gave them some good minutes at center. Of course, his defense and on Paul George is important, and he's a guy who can hurt you for sure on both ends of the ball. So, if the Sixers catch a break or two there with the Knicks having some key players sidelined, I think this certainly leaves the series really wide open, even though they do find themselves in this 0-2 hole. So it's incumbent upon them to potentially capitalize on that and take care of business on home court tomorrow night.
The Sixers are light on depth. That's been very evident this season. But I thought Dominic Barlow provided a little bit of a spark, seemed to match up pretty well. What are your expectations for him this series in terms of his involvement?
I think after last night, Nick Nurse, there's no question he'll be willing to go to Barlow at the 5 rather quickly. Of course, Joel Embiid's status is a big factor there in terms of just how much Barlow plays, but I think you could argue that move made sense even before Nurse pulled the trigger on it in the third quarter. The Andre Drummond, Dembona duo has its strengths and weaknesses, and one of the main flaws we all saw last night is they can pile up fouls really quickly. I think Barlow has some unique strengths when you play him at center. He's a good short roll passer, just a really intelligent player across the board. He's a hustler. He chases down offensive rebounds. And then, Jalen Brunson made some tip your cap sort of shots, but I think Barlow is a player you feel comfortable switching everything against and just in general provides you some defensive versatility that is nice in a playoff setting. So I thought he was without question one of the bright spots of that game last night, being thrown in there in the third quarter and playing quite well. And I'm sure Nurse will be glad to turn to him moving forward in the series. I don't think it's a case where, that was a temporary thing and now he's out of the rotation again. I've got to assume he's back out there in some capacity in Game 3.
No, last thing, and I know it's kind of a loaded question, but this isn't just what fans say. I actually saw members of New York media saying something similar, that when they found out Embiid was not going to play, they were expecting a more competitive game out of the Sixers last night. So it's a loaded question, but do you believe that this Sixers team, the talent that they currently have, is better and more competitive with or without Joel Embiid?
I think they're still clearly a better team with Joel Embiid. I mean, they were 21-23 without him in the regular season. Now 1-3 without him in the postseason. I think they were about 10-point net rating better with him on the floor than off it in the regular season. I think you see that there's this really great burden on Tyrese Maxey and Paul George to chuck up a lot of contested shots. And when Joel Embiid's on the court and at his best, he attracts double teams. He makes everything a little bit easier for his teammates. He cleans up mistakes, with his rim protection. I think, of course, the picture gets a little murkier when he is playing at, 60 or 70% health. But I still think the bottom line is there's a ton of evidence to support that the Sixers are better when they have a superstar center on the court. And I think some of the lack of depth becomes a little more apparent, a little more glaring when Embiid is unavailable. So I think they still would love to have him out there, and they have a better chance to win games when he's on the court.
Check out Noah's work, NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. We appreciate the time this morning. Thanks, Noah.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
There's Noah Levick joining us here on Kincaid and Salchunas. Look, the Sixers are a better team with Joel.
They're a more talented team on the court, no questions asked.
Yeah. They showed a lot of fight last night, and I get it. It's easy to say, well, look, they got crushed game one with him. They played tighter game two without him. They're a better team with Joel Embiid. But I did ask specifically this roster. After this season ends, if it ends in 5 games in this series, or 6, even if it's 6 games, like, let's say they lose in 7, you're still pointing to the first 2 games of the series that his health is the reason why it went this far and you ultimately lost. And that's still going to lead to the conversation about moving on from him this offseason. And if you do, then you can start building a roster that could make more sense with some of the players that you have. They are a better team with him. But, man, regardless of how this plays out, unless they win the series, it's heading in that direction. And it's like the first time I'm ever saying that it has to happen. Like, it sucks, dude. But, like, as great as he is, I love the man. As great as he is, you lost 2 games this series already. They've played 2 because of his health.
Yeah, look, it's not going to be difficult. It's going to be a transition, but the facts are the facts. And next year older, you're not magically going to become healthier, and
right.
You have to be able to rely on your centerpiece to play consecutive games, not only in the regular season, but you're seeing it play out now in the postseason that it's problematic. And look, when you don't have him available, I mean, that's the reality.
This isn't just an Embiid thing. Think about all right. This is how crazy we are, and like we deserve to be crazy because the Sixers have driven us mad, quite frankly. What did people celebrate about Paul George's suspension? You guys remember?
He's going to be healthy for the postseason.
Okay.
Think about how crazy that is.
That's because we've been conditioned here to the stupid, like, well, just take games off, which is one of the things we've been conditioned to.
It's not that. It's Paul George has a injury history, too. We celebrated a guy being suspended, and it was like reporters, forget fans, being conditioned. There were reporters that were saying this might actually be the best thing for the Sixers. Paul George is off his feet. He had knee injury last year. He had knee injuries the last 5 years. He had a knee injury last year, and he couldn't go, and he was banged up to be. Remember, he got hurt in the training camp or in the preseason this year.
Right.
This might actually be the best thing for him. That's crazy. Do you guys realize how nuts that is? We're talking about how a suspension was the best thing for a player and a team. Like they gotta make changes unless they win the series, which still could.
They still can.
Still could.
Look, if there's a beaten up Josh Hart, and if OG what if OG misses 1 or 2 games?
Yeah,
this series is wide open. Like wide open.
They win the next 2, which they could,
and they absolutely could.
And circling back to Paul George, he has performed well in games 1 and 2.
I thought last night we were going to say, great. I was ready to say they win that game. We were going to talk about that as the Paul George game.
Yeah. Oh, he's been great.
But again, what do you have, 5 threes?
Yeah.
I mean, he hit some threes last night. I was saying, okay, it's looking slightly vintage.
Yeah. No, he looked great yesterday.
He hit his open threes when they needed it. Maxey couldn't hit his open threes.
But they're the 7th seed because he missed 25 games, which we celebrated, and B got hurt. Maxey missed time. Well, I know. People were saying this would be good for them in the long run. Good for them for what? They're the 7th seed. They had to beat the Celtics to move on. Congratulations. Incredible series win. That was
it is.
Against all odds. Down 3-1, incredible series win. And now you have to play the 3 seed. Because of your being the 7th seed. And now you might lose because you might be... If you're playing Orlando, Detroit, Cleveland, Atlanta, I feel pretty good about all their chances in those series.
Correct.
This is a tough task after what you just had to go through.
It's tough, but I thought the Celtics were a tougher team.
I think the Knicks are tougher.
They're two... I
think for the Sixers.
They're two different teams.
I think the Knicks are a tougher team for the Sixers because I think the Knicks have an answer for Embiid. I think the Knicks have a way of, there's enough to me. I think Embiid is going to be run ragged by the Knicks.
Yeah, Boston has just no bigs. Kada and Vucevic were just...
But the Sixers wanted to play, and they did play physical with the Knicks. But as we saw, you can't play physical because you get someone like an Andre Drummond in foul trouble early, a Dembona. There were some. There were some really tough calls. It was a tough game to watch.
It was a ticky-tack. I thought it was ticky-tack both ways.
Yeah, both ways, absolutely.
But it was, and to me, that's not enjoyable. I'm not there to see that.
But that's NBA basketball today.
Yeah, but game 1 wasn't called that way. I think game 2 was called much more like. Almost like they were expecting nonsense.
Well, nobody missed in game 1. At least,
that's the truth.
They didn't have
to drive. Yeah, the Kelly Oubre flagrant foul was stupid.
That was stupid.
That was.
By the way,
horrific.
that went on. It seemed like it went on 7 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, what happened to swallowing the whistle in the playoffs?
That's
if
what
anything,
I said.
If anything, they're doing the opposite.
Yeah, that bothers me.
You know what? It's because they're not used to playing defense. All regular season.
And that goes back to what you said during the last commercial break.
Right.
They don't play
You can't.
Can't play defense anymore. They're going to call you.
You can't.
All right, coming up next. I think we should play one of these for our next guest. So we're giving away a pair of Flyers tickets for tonight's game, the best poem. We'll play one for Tim Saunders. Tim Saunders, big poetry guy. He joins us coming up next. It is Kincaid and Sal Tunis here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's 9:30 here on Kincaid and Sal Tunis. Our man Andrew DeCecco in studio, as he is every single Thursday from 8 to 10. Not as much Eagles talk the last couple of weeks because we've had so much playoff action, Sixers and Flyers. And, of course, we've had the turnaround, hottest team in town, Philadelphia Phillies, led by Magic Mattingly. John Kincaid just continuing to fall deeper and deeper in love with Donnie baseball.
I know it's Mother's Day this weekend, but it doesn't mean I can't get him some flowers.
Yeah,
for the Rockies series.
Yeah. It's going to be Donnie Day soon. The way it's not going to be Mother's Day. It's going to be Donnie Day.
Look at John. He's smiling.
Look at him. He's blushing. He's
smiling.
Joining us now, and I can't wait to get his thoughts on it because Connor's going to play a poem for.
It's not my poem. Don't make it sound like it's me.
The voice of the Philadelphia Flyers for the Flyers Radio Network. Tonight's game will be on 97.5 The Fanatic. Late one, 8 o'clock, guys. Tim Saunders joins us. Tim, good morning. How are you?
Connor's writing poetry now?
Well, no. John wanted Flyers poem. We have a pair of tickets to give away for tonight's game, and John wanted Flyers poems. And John is so in love with Don Mattingly, we also asked people to make Don Mattingly poems. And so we will play some of them for you because we're curious if you could help us pick the winner. Will you be able to do that for us later?
Sure.
Warning, you will cringe at all of them.
Yeah, it's sort of cringy.
I'm already cringing.
He's already
All right, well, let's start with the actual series. Flyers looking to extend the series tonight down 2-0. Game 2, much better than Game 1. Curious what some of your takeaways were, the differences of Game 1 and Game 2.
Well, the outcome notwithstanding, I thought there were quite a few positives in Game 2 that gives them something to build on in Game 3. Being in that room yesterday and talking to some of these guys, I mean, the belief is still there. So much so that, that kind of stood out to me is these guys still think that based on Game 2 and outplaying the Hurricanes late in that game, especially in overtime, that they're coming back home. They're going to be hurt by the injury of Noah Cates, but I think they still think that they found some answers and maybe they can deal with the pressure that the Canes bring a little better than they did in Game 1. And I guess it remains to be seen if they're able to do that. But you need to have a belief in the room first, and that certainly is still there.
What did you see in Game 2 as far as the game plan that you thought changed things?
Well, I think they're figuring out that you can use the aggressive nature of the Carolina Hurricanes against them at times. If you can get the puck behind them and kind of pressure them, you're going to get your own scoring chances. I think the problem was they didn't have enough of a shooter's mentality in Game 2. I thought they passed up way too many shots. And I don't think they're doing what Carolina is doing, going hard to the net and making life difficult for the opposing goaltender. And I think they do need to get in Freddie Anderson's kitchen a little bit. Now, you got to be careful with that because, you can't risk taking penalties, and they're already the most penalized team in the playoffs. So you really got to walk that tightrope. You don't want to put the Canes on the power play. But I do think they want to continue to be physical and kind of set the tempo themselves. And I think you're going to see them feed off of what they did late in Game 2.
Noah Cates out for the remainder of the series. Just your perspective on the significance of that loss, and who are you looking to fill the void?
Well, you can't overstate how important Noah Cates has been. He's their most defensive conscious guy as far as forwards. He's the only guy that played in every single game this year, so now that goes by the wayside. Todd called him Mr. Consistency yesterday, and he's been all of that. The guy that's going to have to really step up and play a lot of those minutes and in an unfamiliar position is Denver Barkey. They tried Barkey in the middle late in Game 1, played him there the whole Game 2, and he seemed to thrive in that role. I thought Barkey was the best flyer on the ice in Game 1. So having talked to him yesterday, he's really excited to take on that challenge, and he's not, he's not overwhelmed by this moment. None of the young Flyers seem to be, all worked up and getting caught up in the pressure of the situation. In talking to a couple of vets yesterday, one in particular, Luke Glendening has more playoff experience than any other Flyer on this team. And he was talking about when he first came up, and usually the kids don't realize what an opportunity this is. And in other words, they just assume you're going to get to the playoffs every year. And a veteran knows that it's not that easy. It doesn't always happen. So at this point, they don't know any better, a lot of the young Flyers, and that's actually a good thing because they're not really wilting under the pressure of the playoffs.
So you said the young players are excited for the challenge. I'm wondering, are you excited for the challenge of listening to some of these poems, Tim?
Probably less than they are.
All right. Connor, do we have like a leader in the clubhouse right now?
Like, pick a good one, if there is one.
I think we have one that just came in that we haven't heard yet.
All right, Tim, all right. You have to help us out here. What do we got?
So this is Jason. His son actually sent this one in. So we got a kiddo submitting. Wants to go to the game tonight.
Under bright lights, the Flyers fly, orange and black against the sky. The hurricanes bring wind and fight, but Philly burns too hot tonight. A shot, a roar, the red light gleams. The crowd erupts in thundered screams. The storm fades out, the victory's ours. The Flyers stand as hockey's power. Let's go, Flyers!
That was a good one.
That's a leader in the club.
That's a good one.
Tim, you agree? That's the best
Not
one.
bad.
That's really good work. That is good work.
I'll give that one.
That's leader in the clubhouse.
Tim, that was by far better than all the other ones
combined.
The first couple were,
awful.
They tried.
Dreadful.
Well, the key is you have a kid reading it, right?
That's what I was going to say.
That's a great
you
point.
You didn't hear the earlier ones. I mean, they were horrendous. I was apologizing for coming up with the idea.
Can you play one of the cringy ones for Tim? I need to hear Tim's reaction. Go ahead, Connor.
Let's go Flyers. Let's go Flyers. This is our arena. This is our home. Rome, Carolina, over. Sock 'em, rock 'em. Knock, knock. Philly's coming in. Young guns are going to win. Orange and black. Bring the attack. Man, I need them to rock 'em and sock 'em. With Tibbet, Zegras, and Martone, this is our gritty home.
Tim, I have an idea. You can, instead of you setting the scene tonight at the broadcast,
we just play that.
Just play that at the beginning of the game tonight.
We're trying to attract listeners.
Now, look, we appreciate the listeners setting that in.
Of course,
but they tried. Just the way it is.
I love the guy's passion.
Yes,
it sounds like he's still out after a bender after Game 2.
Tim, what if I told you my gut instinct this morning? And I have not said this to Andrew or Connor on the air yet, or to Andrew DeCecco. I have a feeling the Flyers are going to just come out. Like, this could be really like one of those like eye-opening surprise efforts from the Flyers tonight. Like, big win tonight. Big win tonight.
I like the sound of that because it's got to be, right? Because you go down 3-0. I mean,
it's trouble. Yeah, you're
dead in the water.
Yeah, you're dead in the water. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be. I'm going to lay some goals on my Bet Parks app, but I know he does not do that because he's a broadcaster.
Yeah, he's not allowed to.
He does not do that.
All right, Tim. Well, we appreciate the time. We'll be listening to tonight's game,
Thanks,
8 o'clock
Tim.
puck drop. You can listen live right here on the Fanatic, and Tim Saunders will have his own produced open and not the poem that we just heard. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Timmy.
Send me that transcript. Maybe I can.
All right, sounds good. There is Tim Saunders, the voice of the Philadelphia Flyers. How about this one? In the cold-lit rink where the echoes rise beneath the glare of the winter skies, the orange wings cut sharp through night. Philadelphia Flyers in flight. The boards all thunder, the crowd all roars. Hope spills out from the stadium doors. Old ghosts linger in Broad Street's flames, still chanting loud each harder name.
What is AI? Frost? AI writing things
That's
for you?
Terrifying that ChatGPT can put that together.
I knew that had to be AI. It's so generic.
What, you didn't think that I had that kind of skill?
No, it's so generic.
Oh, it's generic?
Yeah, it's very generic.
And it didn't have anything with John and Don.
You could put Rangers. Yeah. You could put Rangers. You could put Hurricanes. You could put any team in there. It was very generic. You can spot AI.
We got plenty of AI, John and Don, yesterday. There's some great pictures we'll show you, Andrew.
Oh, great.
There we go.
All right, wait, hold on. Oh, my God. See, I hate AI because it scares me for the future. Like, it does. Especially people who write. Scares the hell out of me.
Absolutely.
Right?
I hear you.
Under the lights where summer stayed, two names still hum through the grandstand shade. John Kincaid with a voice like thunder on midnight air, and Don Mattingly with the quiet grace of a left-handed prayer. All I did was write a poem about John Kincaid and Don Mattingly, and there's a whole poem about your love.
Well,
Kincaid
fanfic now? What's
Kincaid speaks
Thoughts
and the
on that,
phones
John?
ignite. Mattingly waits beneath stadium light. One with stories, one with stance, both teaching faithful fans that sports are never only games. They are memories wearing famous names.
I know this. You would have had better grades in college because you would have found a way to have some of your papers written this way. But you know they have they've
they figure it out.
They got the software that tracks this stuff down. But man, that's incredible. Everything's so generic when it's written like that. It's very easy to tell.
Yeah, you can spot that.
You can spot the generic stuff. By the way, Sports Illustrated, was hiring writers that were doing that.
Yeah, I know.
Really? Were they?
Yeah, they did. Remember? They got caught with that.
Yeah,
they got caught with some of that. But by the way, did you like Draymond last night? He was terrible.
No, it was horrible.
He was terrible.
And I love Kenny Smith Potster.
He took a shot, right?
Yeah, and Kenny Smith goes, tell us about it.
Yeah, he put him on the spot. I love that.
It was great. Kenny Smith at Charles' back.
Called him right out, and made him speak up.
Draymond was terrible on there. He should never be back on. It's terrible. Atrocious.
Coming up next, we preview tonight's game. We have to announce our winner of the tickets. And also, I want to update you on a big story that's happening in the world. Just an update. Hopefully it calms people down a little bit. It's Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
9:47 here on Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic. Just want to get this out of the way because obviously there's a major story going out in the world right now, or specifically in the seas, because there's a boat with a virus that's out there. The World Health Organization did have a big press conference today, kind of updating everybody. There are rare cases where it goes from person to person. They are not worried that this is going to become...
Where what goes? Because there's a lot of people who don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The hantavirus.
And people are trying to spread panic on social media.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that get clicks, and they want that. They are not worried that this is going to become some major thing, and everybody that is still on the boat is still on the boat. They're keeping them in their cabins. If they feel symptoms, they're cleaning everything, blah, blah, blah. So I just want to update because I know social media has been buzzing about this, and they're thinking another pandemic's on its way. Before COVID, the World Health Organization was concerned, but this is not something where they're losing their minds. So I just wanted to put that out there because they did speak today. Just want to update you guys all on that. And our hearts go out to the people who passed away from this, which is horrible. All right, Connor, you have the winner for our Flyers tickets for tonight's game. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to give it to the kid.
Okay.
So Jason from Glenmore is the father, proud listener of Kincaid and South Tunis, and his son is the winner. So we will make sure they get the tickets to the game. And shout out to Lucas, who is that's his son's name.
Good job,
You did a great
Lucas.
job.
Congrats. Good cadence. Good pace,
Really
good pacing.
You see, the pacing of it is really
I
important.
thought the pacing was exceptional.
Now, in case you guys are wondering, well, Andrew, why were you randomly doing Chat GPT poems? It's because I wanted to just make sure that
You
that
went down a
wasn't-
rabbit hole.
I didn't want it to be a Chat GPT. And then I went down a rabbit hole. I had Chat GPT write a love poem for John Kincaid and Don Mattingly. But then I said, you know what? If Andrew DeCecco played in the NFL, who would be his comp?
I said Luke Kuechly.
I thought I was like Bob Sanders.
I
don't
thought
know.
post-concussions Luke Kuechly.
Connor, I read them to the two of them, so I want to read them to you. There are 4 comps, but they wrote if Andrew DeCecco somehow played in the NFL.
Oh, that's cold.
Based purely on his public persona and reporting style, the comp would probably be a dependable, detail-oriented, coach-on-the-field type player rather than a flashy superstar. And they did Cooper Kupp because of his obsessive preparation, film room energy, and precision over flash.
And don't forget Sneaky Athletic.
Hunter Renfrow, analytical vibe, wins the details and positioning.
Deceptively fast.
Alex Smith, steady, cerebral, low drama, process information quickly. We've seen this guy give us 7th-round draft picks from 17 years ago.
I can give you undrafted free agents for the Eagles from 2001. I would have you covered to probably 06.
And lastly, TJ Edwards, not the loudest name, but Eagles fans appreciate the consistency and intelligence.
Hell yeah.
I think they're all great. So I went for you, Connor.
Oh, no.
If Connor Thomas of 97.5 The Fanatic, I had to specify that because, believe it or not, there's a lot of Connor Thomases out in the world.
Yeah.
If Connor Thomas of The Fanatic played in the major leagues, who would his comp be? So they wrote that you would be less superstar, but more high-energy, everyday player who becomes a cult favorite.
I swear to God, if you say Garrett Stubbs, I'm going to strangle you.
No, but we're in that boat. You were given Nick Swisher, loud clubhouse presence, emotional, keeps high energy, made for talk radio highlights. Kevin Millar, personality driven.
Okay.
Love Kevin
funny,
Millar.
thrives on chemistry and momentum.
Tomas Perez.
No Tomas Perez, but you did get one former and one current Philly. Jason Worth, intense competitor with a little edge and strong Philly style confidence. And Brandon Marsh.
Oh, my guy.
Fan-friendly vibe, emotional investment. This guy would absolutely dive into a wall in May energy.
I agree with that one. What do I call Connor all the time?
Golden retriever.
Connor is a golden retriever.
I got to grow my beard out.
He is, every day when you open the door, Connor is happy. He's joyous. He brings something to make you smile every day. Connor's one of those people who makes your life more positive.
Enough about me. Don Mattingly's going to get jealous.
I don't want to. No,
You're right.
Don knows. Don knows. Look, we're in the same age group, Connor, so Don knows I'm not going to do that.
Well,
To cheat.
so do the Flyers make it 2-1 tonight?
Yes.
You've said that.
How about I may go? I'm definitely laying the puck line. I'm definitely laying the 1.5.
Okay. Yeah, game 1 was the anomaly between these two teams.
I like the Flyers tonight. I think the Flyers are going to come out flying.
Some jam.
And this is going to be the game tonight, I think, where the Flyers will really this is going to be some excitement and I don't think it'll in any way each game will be its own entity. But tonight, I believe is a Flyer victory. I'll go 4-2 Flyers tonight. And may even be a late goal from the Hurricanes to make it 4-2.
Wow. All right. So it's a
good victory. Yes.
Okay.
I feel very good. I woke up in a great feeling with the Fly.
I don't even want to ask the next question. Do you think the Phillies win tonight? Because obviously, Magic Mattingly.
No.
We ain't losing.
Not necessarily.
What, he already saved Aronola by blessing his arm. He might
He's pushing all the right buttons.
He's gonna touch
Painter.
Andrew Painter's hand today, and all of a sudden Andrew Painter's gonna start hitting the corners.
Yeah, he's like Mr. Miyagi.
He's got Painter out there. Wax on, wax off. Let's just say,
dude, Luzardo's had 2 great starts since Don Mattingly took over.
I'm not that confident in Mr.
Mattingly pixie dust.
Not that confident in Mr. Payne.
I bet you Bryson Stott's back in the lineup today.
Well, facing a righty.
Oh, I thought it was because Magic Mattingly just knows when to play the right guy. Does Alec Bone play tonight?
Yes. I think he puts him back in there. Yes.
After pinch hitting for him.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he tries to say, look, I'm giving you a chance to tell me that I have to take you out.
He's had chances for 3 years.
I understand, but this guy is trying to say, I'm going to give you a chance.
You don't reward Eddie for the game last night?
That's what I'm saying. A good baseball guy would get Edmundo Sosa the shot today.
That could be too, though. That's a good thought process. He could do that, but I'm not too sure. I guarantee you this: if Bryce Harper runs his mouth and again doesn't keep things in house and says what he wants to do during batting practice, he'll change the lineup card and do the exact opposite. Just to tell him, hey, Bryce, stick to your own stuff.
Hey, I will find the same.
Go pander elsewhere.
If he benches Bryce Harper for making a stupid base running mistake, I'll be with you.
I don't think he will.
Why?
Like JT Realmuto gets.
I thought he holds guys accountable.
JT gets picked off last night, and they show Mattingly.
Wow.
No
accountability.
Head to the side. No, they talked when he came.
He was staring off into space?
No. See, you must have been watching the Sixers. He actually, JT Realmuto talks to the manager. Rob Thompson, you never saw that. JT Realmuto talks to his manager when he comes back getting picked off. First of all, how did he get picked off? He's taking like one of the shortest leads. How's he get picked off?
Tough lefty.
For God's sakes.
Well, because he's a 36-year-old with bad
no
knees.
short area quickness.
It's like a place for mom. He's not getting picked off.
All right, real quick. Coming up next, you got to watch on YouTube. All right?
Just say that.
That's all I'm going to say. Middays with Marks is already a great show to listen to, and it's a great show to watch. Watch the show on YouTube today. All right? There's a lot of people that will be proud of the work that they put together going into this program. Watch the show on YouTube. Andrew, great job as always, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Always love having you in studio. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We're back at it tomorrow. Tomorrow, another reaction day, reacting to Flyers Game 3, Magic Mattingly Game 10, right?
Yes.
No, 8. He's won 8 of 9. So Game 10 of Magic Mattingly, and then it'll be game day. Sixers, Knicks. Well, pray for us all. Talk to you tomorrow.